Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer, y'all. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth, and the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, and as you can see, we have been trading in this area for a while, just kind of like going sideways. Not too many highs, not too many lows, just like in a gathering spot, as I like to say, right? So we tested the ATR trailing stop, which was right here at the 1345. Looking at it on this 30-minute chart, we tested the 50 EMA at 1349, only to get rejected, but it looks like it's trying to come back to this area, right? So if we break where we are now, which is around that 1350, let's see, the high of this candle was 1351. If we break above this 1351, I have 1369 and 1380 as trouble places for the VIX, or 1396, right? Not saying that we can't get all the way back up to this 1443, because anything is possible, but right now it looks as if it's going to continue to the upside, it needs to break those levels, right? And at 1365 is where the ATR trailing stop is on the 1 hour chart, which puts us kind of close to, or the 50 EMA puts us kind of close to that 1380 range. It's right there at 1379 on this 1 hour chart. So keep in mind, if the VIX moves up, that means the SPY normally goes to the downside. So let's go look at the SPY and see where we are. So this is the SPY. We gathered yesterday. I mean, you see this consolidation. We ran up. This sell-off did not surprise me at all. I marked this channel here for a reason. So we consolidated for a while with the SPY. I like to go to the 4 o'clock candle, which is here. 517.39 was our resistance. 516.98 was our support. We broke through that. The 5 and the 50 cross. That is a bearish signal for me. And looking at the MACD, it's pointing to the downside. So we broke the level of support right here at 516.67, which was that ATR trailing stop. So if I was trading the SPY, this would have been a nice entry to the downside. I always like to point those out when I see those, right? So again, the SPY has broken out of a gathering spot. We came down and tested this 514.98. I need to remember that number, because right now that is our pre-market support, right? And it's another form. If we drop past this level here, that means we've made a new low for pre-market. And that is a concern, because that means we can continue to the downside, meaning we can come down and test this 513.34, which is right at the 513.30 area of the 200 EMA. So SPY can continue to the downside, or it can, find support here and take us back to the upside. But overall, it looks like it wants to come back to the downside. So I would watch the SPY at 514.98, 513.20, 513.34. And then, I will 511.98. These are areas that I will watch the SPY. 511.17, 510.25, or 510.49. Those are areas that we can come back and find support to the downside. Looking at it on this 4 hour chart, that 514.98 is important. We need to hold this level, otherwise we're going to probably continue down. 514.35 is the next level of support, which is right at the 20 EMA, looking at it on this 4 hour chart. Or we can come all the way down to the 511.60, and that's the ATR trailing stop. Keep in mind, anything is possible with the SPY. The SPY normally moves $6.12 per day. And this is looking at it at a different view on the daily chart. So we've been moving up. It probably needs to cool off. And keep in mind, there is a gap to the downside that needs to be filled at the 508.56 down to the 505. It would not surprise me if by chance we come down to that location. Now, y'all see, Tesla is my absolute favorite, right? And Tesla Tesla is Tesla, right? It moves $10.34 per day. Looking at it on this daily chart, it looks as if the 176.02 would have been our support, or the 173.84, or the 172.12. Well, guess what? I looked at it pre-market, and it seemed as if Tesla is already down to the 170 area, which is interesting because it closed at 177.81. That is very interesting that it's down so much today, right? So I need to remember this area here, because this is a support that is holding Tesla up. So if we break this level, that means we have broken through a level of support, and we could very well continue to the downside. So right now, this is our gathering spot. It would have been up here at the 4 o'clock. This area would have been our 4 o'clock. area. However, because we have broken out of that and declined so much, right now it is creating another gathering spot for us. And I would say it's around at the 171.99 area or 172. So Tesla can very well trade around the 172.02 all the way down to the 170.53. Keep in mind, if by chance we break this 170.53, we can continue down or declining, and it needs to get above 172.02 in order to continue back to the upside, which we're under the 5 EMA. We are still, the 5 EMA is our trouble place right now, 171.50. If it breaks above that, we can try to make some recovery, but it looks like Tesla wants to decline based on what we're seeing here on this 30-minute chart. It looks like it wants to go, to the downside. What we were looking at, that is the 5-minute chart. I do apologize. Normally we look at the 30-minute chart, but again, we saw a clearer view on the 5-minute chart. So looking at it on this 30-minute chart, it has broken out of the gathering spot. We're under the 5 EMA. We have found support at the 170.53, and if we break this area, so I'm going to put an alert here that if we decide to come on down past this place, then we're probably going to continue to the downside, right? So where do I see trouble places for Tesla right now? We're already in trouble. I mean, it's already declined almost $6 or $7. So we do have a gap to the downside at the 158.30, starting at the 158.30 down to the 147.26 area created on 422 and 423. It would not surprise me if we start filling that gap, right? Because we had a nice little run up with earnings only to move sideways. It looks like we're breaking out of that place. So if I traded Tesla today, which I probably will, I would say trade carefully. Just know that, Tesla does have some downside gaps to fill, and we could very well come down and fill those places, right? So let's look at, NVIDIA. Right now, it seems like everything is gapping down. So NVIDIA this is our gathering spot right here at the 894.53, which is our support area. And our resistance is going to be somewhere around, I would say, the 895.91. Why? Because that's where the body of this candle and the high of these two candles, even though price did break out of this area, look where price came back to. It came back to the gathering spot. So I would watch 894.50, 895.91, and it could break in either direction, right? If it decides to break above this 5 EMA, above the 894.97, then we would need to watch 897.38. and 897.53, 898.93, and $900.04. Those are trouble places for us looking at it on this 5-minute chart. On the 30-minute chart, we're going to have trouble at the 5 EMA, 898.22, 8, and then the 902. So that we need to watch that 900 and the 902 range, right? If by chance we break above the 902 or the 904, we could test the 907.74. And keep in mind, NVIDIA normally moves about $42.35 per day, and that's an average, so it can move in either direction. What's interesting is, even though this was yesterday's gathering spot, this is today's gathering spot, we are right in the same area of where the gathering spot was. So we're finding support right here at this 892.55, which is kind of close to the 50 EMA on the 4-hour, 20 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So we need to be careful with NVIDIA because it looks like it wants to come back down to the downside. Again, not financial advice. I would say watch your charts, trade carefully, and always trade what you see, right? So we are looking at AMD, and it looks at AMD. It too has broken out of a gathering spot. So our support would have been at the 154.06. Resistance would have been around the 154.36 area, and it seems as if we have broken out of that to the downside. And looking at it again on this 30-minute chart, we are under the ATR trailing stop, which was at the 153.25, and we came down and tested the 50, broke through it only to come back up. I need to remember this 152.30. As you can see, I'm gonna get rid of this here. So as you can see, this 153.30, 152.30 area has been support for us. We tested it here, we tested it here. So is this going to be a strong support for us, or are we going to continue to the upside? If by chance this is our support area, 152.32, to where it could take us back to the upside, I would watch 153.26, 154.01, 154.12. Those are areas that, it would need to break through to the upside. Now to the downside, below that 152.32, I'm going to set an alert to let me know if it breaks below that area, because we can continue to the downside. Excuse me. We can continue down. And the 150.147 is our ATR trailing stop. We also have support at the 148.56 and the 148.23. Those are areas that I would watch AMD. If I traded AMD, I always say y'all trade carefully and allow your charts to come, to lead you. And keep in mind, AMD moves $6.43 per day. So it can move in either direction, $6.42. So yeah, so we've covered AMD, Tesla, SPY, and Nvidia. We did have some inside day candles, and I'll give the triggers to those. CVS was not one of them. I think it has a gap. That's why I added it to my list today. CVX is an inside day. And the trigger, if it breaks above 163.15, then 164.02 is the target. Below 162.02, then 160.73 is the target. And believe it or not, y'all, GameStop is an inside day. And it's interesting that it's been moving the way that it has. On this daily chart, I just watched how it just went sideways, only to pop up here. So is it trying to give us a signal? That's something to be mindful of. So as of right now, if it breaks above 1725, then 1740 is the target. If it breaks below 1493, 1362 is the target for GameStop. Meta is an inside day, and the trigger is if it breaks above $20.68, $21.03 is the target. Below 1970, then the downside target is 1823. So if I traded Mara, I would definitely watch those areas. So we need to, I always say y'all trade what you see. So SoFi, I believe, is an inside day also. It is. So if SoFi breaks above $7.19, $7.27 is the target. If it breaks below 703, then the target to the downside is 703, which is interesting. That is so close. If it breaks below 703, then 703 is a target. That's a small place. But again, those are our inside day candles thus far, y'all. So listen, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. We're going to go back to the SPY just to see where we are. Are we holding that level of support on this 30-minute chart, or are we breaking? Right now, we're in that gathering spot of holding support right where we are. So I would watch the 514.98. Below that sends us to the downside. With Tesla, are we going to? It looked to be creating a gathering spot here. Excuse me. And Tesla is at a place of we need to watch it because it's dropped so much pre-market. Does that mean it cannot continue declining? That is not the truth. So just keep in mind, y'all, wait on the charts to give you a signal. Wait on your confirmation before entering. Again, Tesla 170.53. We need to stay above this level if you're trading to the upside, or below this level if we're going to the downside. So yeah, that's something that I will be mindful of. Again, y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I hope that everyone have a very profitable day today, an awesome day. And y'all know I always like to leave you with this: be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.